All right. Well, thanks for joining tonight. Welcome. My name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion. I'm Director of K-12 Services at MEFA. And tonight we are going to be talking about college admissions and MEFA Pathway. I am joined by my colleague, Epalila Joseph, who will be behind the scenes answering any questions that come up. So during this presentation, we were going to go through the college admissions process and how you can use MEFA Pathway as a tool to support that process. Let's get to the next slide here. Okay, a few logistics before we start. We are recording the session, so if you need to leave before we conclude, no worries. We'll be sending out the recording and the slides. You'll have both as resources. The chat feature is disabled, so if you have a question, just pop it in the Q&A and we'll address those. And also, if you enable the live transcript, you can see the words that I'm speaking. Okay, MEFA is a state authority started over 40 years ago with a mission that has stayed strong with helping families plan, save, and pay for college. We have a number of savings plans, we have a loan program, and we pride ourselves on the guidance and support that we offer our families as they navigate planning, saving, and paying for college. As I mentioned, as I go through the presentation, I'll be highlighting features in MEFA Pathway that support the college admissions process. MEFA Pathway is a cost-free web portal. It's available for students in grades 6 through 12. It supports all post-secondary paths, whether that's a 2 or 4-year degree, certification, advancing in a trade. So currently we have over 200 schools across the Commonwealth that use MEFA Pathway as their college and career planning tool, but any student can create an account just by going to mefapathway.org and registering as a first-time user. So again, we'll highlight a number of tools as we go through the presentation that can help support the college admissions process. All right, just to go through some of the topics that we'll cover tonight. Tonight we'll look at current trends in the college admissions process. We'll talk about building that solid college list. We'll talk about the importance of campus visits. We'll go through the application process and touch a bit on financial aid. And we'll also be highlighting resources as we go through. College admissions is certainly a process, and our goal is to map it out in a way that hopefully alleviates some of your stress. Okay, first, let's talk about some of the current trends in college admissions. We know that students are beginning to think about college admissions now earlier, maybe in junior year or even earlier than that. Maybe some of you are in grade 10 or 11 or parents of a grade 10 or 11 student. We are seeing that students are applying to a greater number of schools, of colleges. So according to the National Association for College Admissions Counseling, otherwise known as NACAC, so I know when I was applying to college, obviously many years ago, I lived in New Hampshire. I applied to the 3 state schools, and that was that. Now, some students are applying to 10, 15, maybe even 20 colleges. So this has certainly increased over the years. Most counselors now recommend applying to between 6 and 8 schools, but more colleges if the list is comprised of Ivy League or highly competitive schools, or if a student is interested in a selected major. So as a result of these higher applications, schools are having a more difficult time making those admissions decisions. So therefore, makes the students' indicated interest in a school that much more important. So many colleges are paying attention to and keeping track of the students' interest in them. Not all colleges do, but some do, in fact, keep track. So what is demonstrated interest? Some examples, if a student took a tour of the campus, are they opening their emails? Have they spoken to someone in the admissions office? So these are some great examples. Are the students following them on social media? And that's important to do if you're really interested in a school. If a college comes to the student's high school, make sure you visit. If a student can't connect with someone at the college in person, maybe do a virtual tour, you follow up with an email to the admissions office. Let them know you're excited because, again, many pay attention and do keep track, and it makes a difference when it comes to admissions. Okay, we know that social media has certainly had an uptick over the last handful of years. According to NACAC, 97% of colleges use social media in their online recruitment and marketing efforts. So these can be used in a number of ways, maybe to remind students of deadlines, informational sessions, though colleges may not check Facebook or Instagram for every applicant. A student's social media presence or profile, or how well he or she presents himself over the phone, through email, and in person can be considered a part of the application. So it's just really important for students to make certain that their profiles are clean, they're appropriate, they're professional, just in case the college checks. Maybe have have your student do a little Google search on themselves and see what comes up. What I always say is, if it's something you don't want your grandmother to see, maybe take it down or don't post it. All right, and then there's, of course, cost being a factor, and we'll talk about that a little more in depth down the road in the presentation. So there are certainly more ways to connect with colleges virtually. So during COVID, colleges were forced to kind of pick up their virtual game, and it's stuck. And we'll talk about this a little more too later on in the presentation. We're seeing that more colleges are test optional. Over 2,000 colleges are test optional now, resulting in more applicants, because the students don't necessarily have to worry about a test score. That can be less stressful. Students can still submit their test scores to test optional schools if they feel good about how they did on the SAT or the ACT. And we'll talk about that a little more too. And then longer wait lists, we're seeing that as well. And another topic we'll go into more in depth down the road here. Okay, so staying organized, so important to stay organized, no matter how you do it. So as students start to research their schools, they want to keep track of all the schools that they're interested in. They want to keep track of admissions deadlines, financial aid deadlines. MEFA has a great, as you can see on the screen here, a great application manager. So you can use this, you can download it right from our website, or you can use a simple spreadsheet. But no matter how you do it, just stay on track with the details, because you do not want to miss a deadline. It's not like missing a deadline on an English paper. Colleges take that really seriously. Okay, so now researching colleges. So it's really important to focus on finding colleges that will be a good match or a good fit for the student's needs. So some tips on developing the college list is, one big one: do your research. Applying to college is expensive, so you want to make sure every college on your list is a good fit for the student. So there are a number of ways you can research colleges. Here on the screen, you can see we have a number of them: College Navigator, we have the College Scorecard, and we have links to all of these right on the slide, so you'll get these again. And then we have Big Future, that's put out by College Board. And then we have MEFA's college career planning platform, MEFA Pathway. So within MEFA Pathway, there is an interactive feature called Match Me. So this is where students can go through each page and identify factors and criteria, kind of what they like, and then it will populate out a list of colleges based on those preferences. So from there, the students can look at the details of the colleges, such as cost, academic information, programs that are offered. And then when they do start doing that research, they can then save those colleges of interest to their college, My College list, and then come back to that list at a later time. So also, once students start looking at the different colleges, they can see where they fall within the school's profile. So they're looking at maybe the average GPA, the SAT and ACT scores, the acceptance rates, and they can also look at the last admitted class, the profile of that last admitted class. It's important to note that the students develop a relationship with each college on the list, especially if they're serious about applying. So be in touch with the admissions office, maybe attend a college visit at the high school, and visit the college if possible. Many high schools offer colleges to come in on a one-on-one basis. So, keep track of which colleges are coming to the high school, and make sure students visit if they do come. And colleges do track the interest each student shows in their institution. So that's also a good example of demonstrated interest. It's also helpful to note, like if you're interested in extracurriculars, see that the college offers those, because that can help ease a student into the transition of college if there are extracurriculars that they're involved in and that they like. So that's important. Okay, so now we're going to talk about college factors to consider. So many different factors to consider when assessing a college. Students want to look at the college, the size of the college, the location of the college, see if they match up with the students' preferences and how they fit academically within the school's profile. You want to find out what colleges offer potential majors that the student may be interested in. Students want to consider learning style, and this ties into the size of the school. How does the student learn more effectively in a smaller classroom, in a larger setting? So that's an important thing to consider. Also important, campus culture. Does the student share the values, traditions, behaviors that may help shape their college experience? Are activities that the student is interested in available? Do they want to be in a rugby club or on the debate team? Those activities are important to look at. What is the school offering? Students want to also look into the career and intern services at a college. Those are certainly considerations. Many students placed in an internship develop connections which may lead to career choices. A study abroad program as a student interested in studying abroad. So if that's important to them, they want to make sure that that college that they apply to offers that. We always want to think about finances, but also keep in mind and remember that you may pay a much less price than the actual sticker price due to financial aid. All right, let's talk a little bit about campus visits. Campus visits are invaluable. If students can take advantage, it can mean the difference between applying to a college or not. I know specifically when my daughter was applying to college, we had the opportunity to go to a number of different campuses, and there was definitely a feel when you get on that campus of if you can see yourself there. So they are quite valuable. Remember that, so there's a difference between informal and formal visits. Informal visits are more, if you decide to do a drive-by or go to a basketball game, you can attend a play, maybe talk to and observe students, make sure you go on a day that students are actually on campus. Do students seem happy and engaged? That sort of thing. You can get a real good feeling for the culture of a school just by walking around. College campuses are open environments, so you can visit anytime, at least informally. So now formal visits, are typically you can sign up for a formal visit right on the college website. So you can schedule that, and then you go to the school, and you have to keep in mind that colleges always put their best foot forward when they have their tours, and so will you. So you want to ask your tour guide questions, and sometimes the tours are led by students, so you can ask them specific questions. What do they like about the school? What do they not like so much about the school? Um, you want to also, as a student, how do you feel on the campus? Does it seem like a fit? With the formal visits, you might be able to go through some of the academic buildings, look at the housing, maybe even go through the dining commons, and yes, of course, just asking questions. We are so fortunate in Massachusetts that we have so many different types of institutions just within even a half day's drive, that we can visit all types of institutions, public, private, rural, urban, small, big. So if you can, take advantage. And also, I'll say that because we have so many different types of colleges in Massachusetts, if you're interested in a college outside of Massachusetts and don't have the opportunity to visit that college because they're far away, maybe it's a plane ride, maybe there's a similar college in Massachusetts that you can visit, and so you can get kind of a feel for that campus. Also suggested some more tips is just when you're on the campus, take a look at the bulletin boards, see what kind of events are being offered. Maybe pick up a copy of the school newspaper. I don't know if they're still doing newspapers, but if so, maybe a newsletter so you can see what's happening on campus. And also, as I mentioned before, colleges have really beefed up their virtual offerings. So you can maybe do a virtual tour on a college if you can't actually get there in person. So again, how do you find about these campus visits? Check the school's admissions section typically of the website, and they will have a calendar of events and information on how to register for those formal campus visits. Okay, so moving on to college fairs. College fairs are a great way to learn about colleges and their different college options. There was just the NACAC fair was just last week. I had the opportunity to attend. Amazing event. Over 200 colleges that set up where students can walk around and ask questions. And now students typically have, they can go and visit, the colleges that they want to speak to representatives at, and they have little scan cards. So that will show that the student actually stopped by and chatted with a representative. It's advised that to check out who will be at a college fair before you go, because there are so many. Students aren't able to go to everyone, so kind of map out your plan before you go. If there are any informational sessions, certainly take advantage of those. Those can be quite valuable. And then on our page here, there's a link to the different organizations that offer the college fairs, and you can see what's coming up next. And also keep an eye out on if your high school offers smaller events, and that's oftentimes high schools do. And so again, as I mentioned earlier, some high schools even have colleges that visit throughout the school year. So you want to stay up to date on what's going on at the high school, on the high school level. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about prospects for admissions. So when you're thinking about building out your college list, you will want to think about building a mix of a list of likely, possible, and reach colleges. On account of colleges becoming more competitive, a student could very well likely end up attending one of the likely schools and be very happy about that. So the most important thing to do is to determine to have all the schools on your list to be one that you could see yourself at, that you would be that you would be happy to attend no matter. Okay, so students can check admitted student profiles on the college websites to find out where they might fit best and to determine that probability target and reach colleges. So how many schools should be on the list? This is definitely a family decision. As I mentioned earlier, that number has heightened in the last handful of years. But anywhere from 6 to 8 schools seem to be the new norm. 9 is the national average, but some school counselors recommend less. So again, family decision, maybe speaking with your school counselor. And again, each college should be one that the student wants to attend. Students might apply to more if the list is if has a handful of Ivy League schools, as Ivies have a lower acceptance rate. Okay, students should know why you're applying. Applications are expensive, so have some good footing behind that. And just a little bit about each of the categories. The reach category is where students have less of a 50% chance of admission, and competition is higher, so that it's difficult to predict the chances even for the strongest of students. Okay, and you can also you can utilize like a common set data in Google, the college profile of the school. But again, you can also use some of those resources that I highlighted earlier, and MEFA Pathway being one of those. Okay, so now before you actually apply, you're going to think about your application timeline. So we have early action and early decision, where those deadlines are typically in the fall. Some colleges require students to apply early if they want to be considered for merit aid or have an interview. So you really want to research this thoroughly, so you know this information. So there can be advantages in both admissions and financial aid to apply early action and early decision. The difference between early action and early decision is that early decision is a binding decision. Early action is not. So you can apply early action to as many schools as you like. You can apply early. You can get your decisions early, and then you do not have to decide until May 1. So early decision is a binding decision. So if you get into a school early decision, you have to rescind all of those other applications. And that's where you're going. So early decision is, that is a conversation to have with parents, with school counselors, because also you want to think about the financial part about that as well, because you're not guaranteed a certain financial aid award. So just think about that before you're applying early decision. So early decisions, also acceptance rates for these early programs can be a little higher. For some colleges, they may admit more through that early deadline. So just make sure you're watching the deadlines. Again, we'll say that a lot throughout. And so let's talk about a little bit about regular decision. So regular decision is where typically the deadlines are early January, maybe even through February or March. So call it early-ish winter. Sometimes students will apply regular decision if they want to get their senior grades in to maybe boost their application, and that regular decision may be a better option for them. Rolling admission is when applications are reviewed as they are received. So if you're applying to a school that's rolling admission, it is best to submit your application as soon as you decide to apply. As chances for admission may be better. Also, if admission is rolling, keep in mind that there may be deadlines for other processes such as housing. So just keep an eye on the deadlines. And also another aspect of rolling is that financial aid resources can run out toward the end of the rolling admission process. So another reason to apply at the start of when they open up. And then open admissions, colleges admit almost, this is for a lot of our community colleges. Colleges admit for community college almost all applicants with a high school diploma or GED. Some colleges have open admission for some programs, but not all. So you want to keep an eye on that if you're applying to a community college. And I'll just throw in this because we do get this question a lot at MEFA. Will students get more financial aid if they apply early? And the answer is that some colleges do dole out funds equally across all application deadlines, where some give more merit aid in the early round. So it's a great question of the college. And again, just be aware of the deadlines. Okay, so now you have your colleges that you're applying to, and colleges have different avenues of applying. So you want to check out each college website to determine the type of application that is required and how to submit the application. So Common App was established in 1975 and now has over 1,000 member institutions. Actually, I think it's above 1,100 now, member institutions. So that's one way students apply to college. There's also the Universal College App that was established in 2007 and has about 18 member institutions, including Harvard, Duke, and Princeton, just to name a couple. And then there's the coalition application. So there are approximately 170 colleges that use the coalition app, many of which also use the Common App. So this application provides it's more of a centralized toolkit for students to organize and refine their applications. So a couple schools that use this are Bates, Holy Cross, Harvard. So you can determine too which would be better for you if the college accepts both. And then many of the remaining colleges, you can apply directly from their website. And then there's the good old paper application. Some of the community colleges still use that. So you'll know when you go to apply to your colleges what they're accepting. Okay, so now let's talk about the college application components. So there are components that are required within each application. So you have the form, the high school transcript, maybe standardized test scores, your letters of recommendation, your activity list, or your resume. Maybe, possibly more probably you'll need a college essay. You may do an interview. If you're applying to a theater or dance, maybe you have to do an audition or supply a portfolio. So you want to look at the colleges, obviously, to see which components are required. You want to treat your application like an absolute work of art. So you want to make sure your name is capitalized. You want to preview it before you submit it to make sure all the formatting looks okay. And just really remember that the application is a representation of you. You want to maybe keep copies of your application after you submit it. Maybe if you're going to an interview, you may want to bring a copy with you. So always good to have a copy. And also, it's helpful maybe to look at a blank application before you start to fill it out, just so you know some of the things that will be asked. And MEFA has a handful of helpful articles and webinars, and I think there may be even a podcast about the application kind of process. So something to check out in the future. So also keep in mind that college applications can have fees, but there are also fee waivers that are available for lower income students. Okay, so let's talk about Academic readiness. Academic readiness is still the most important component in college admissions. Rigor of the high school transcript is assessed. So rather than just grades, looking at has a student challenged themselves in the course of their high school years. We get this question frequently. Is it better to get a B in an AP class rather than an A in an honors class? AP is college level work and will prepare the student better for college. So looking at that, that maybe the B in the AP class, because it's college preparatory work. And you want to also check with the college to see if your AP class translates into college credits. Colleges definitely want to see how well a student has challenged themselves based on those academics offered at the school. They want to see, was the student willing to push themselves, in going back to, taking those AP courses, preparing them for college level work. Did the subjects that they took in high school match the student's indicated intended program of study in college? That's something that colleges look at. Senior grades are still very important. So if you're currently grade 10 or 11, keep your grades up, and definitely don't slack off in senior year. Colleges do have the right to rescind admission to a student if the student's senior grades are not satisfactory. And also in Massachusetts, we have a sliding scale for our Mass public colleges and universities. And we have that on our website as well. So you can just do a quick Google to see the requirements for that sliding scale. And I'll just finish this slide with, remember that there is a college out there for everyone. So not everyone gets all A's in high school, and students with, B's and C's can still go to college. So keep that in mind when you're assessing your colleges you want to apply for, and college out there for everyone. Okay, now let's talk about standardized tests. So standardized tests, the PSAT is taken first as a practice test, and sometimes typically grade 10 and maybe even into grade 11. Students can once they take the PSAT, students can actually use Khan Academy as a test prep, and it's a customized prep based on their PSAT scores. So that's kind of cool. So what's the difference between, we have the SAT and the ACT? The SAT tests for more analytical, critical thinking. It measures college readiness, and where the ACT is more curriculum-based and has a test science knowledge. So question, which one should the student take? If you're not sure, give both a whirl and see how you do, and then focus on the tests that you did the best in. If a student does not submit their test scores at those test optional schools, other parts of the application are weighed more heavily. So that's something to think about. There are other free and inexpensive test prep resources you can check maybe at your high school. Something fun that we did with my daughter was we signed up for the SAT question of the day. That was always kind of fun. And then, Khan Academy also offers free test prep. And research shows that test scores usually improve after a second try, but not typically after three tries. So, and again, over 2,000 four-year schools do not require the SAT or ACT, and you can get that list of schools on fairtest.org. However, test scores may be required to be considered for merit scholarship or placement once you're enrolled. So something to keep in mind. Let's see, what else? As far as the test optional scores, as I mentioned, other parts of that of your application may be weighed more heavily. And then the AP exam, AP scores could earn you college credit. or advanced placement. So that is something to check out as well. Okay, so another an important part of the component of the college application is the student's activity list or their resume. So colleges are looking for looking for leadership. They're looking for resilience. They look at family responsibility. They have. Are you not sure what to put on your list? Think about things that you do after school hours, after 3 p.m. So all the great things that you're doing. And MEFA Pathway has a great tool where you can track all of the great things you're doing, both inside and outside of school, right within the platform. So whether that's sports, clubs, volunteer work, an internship, honors and awards, any certifications, all of that can be housed right in MEFA Pathway, and you can build out a resume right from our resume builder. So great way to keep track, and then you can use that for your college application. You want to keep in mind too that working part-time counts as an extracurricular. So just really think about all that you do and all that you have done, in the past years as well. Colleges do want to see, a passion behind the extracurricular activities. So that's something to think about too. So use MEFA Pathway to help keep track of all of that great stuff. Okay, essays. So an essay can be an important part of the college application. It is, don't think of it as a research paper. It is definitely a personal story. Your application essay says a lot about you, so you want to put a lot of thought into what you will write about. So you want to think about and share something that's meaningful or personal. You want to start writing early. The college essay is definitely not something you want to wait until the last minute to do. You could even start thinking about it, and I'll show you the prompts on the next slide here, thinking about the questions as towards the end of your junior year, maybe even do a draft over the summer. So start writing early, even read your essay out loud to someone, to a friend, to a parent, to your school counselor. You want to make sure that it sounds genuine and is personal to you. Colleges take plagiarism very, very seriously. You should ensure that your essay is your own work, and colleges do have ways to see if a essay has been is not your own. So make sure you're not taking from others. It's important. Okay, just some other tips. Making sure that you're describing your current self. Something that's specific to you. You want the reader to know more about you, obviously, after reading your essay, and maybe invoke some feeling within that reader. So things to think about, and yeah, of course, careful proofreading. Okay, and here are the Common App prompts. So these are for fall 2026 admission. So you can take a peek at these and just maybe start to mull them over. Think about maybe one or two that you may want to start to write about. And also maybe you start writing and you're like, this isn't really jiving. I'm gonna try a different one. So here are the prompts for fall of 2026. And you can get those, we'll have them here in the slides, but you can also get those on Common App. Okay, so moving on to letters of recommendation. So letters of recommendation, something that you can start thinking about towards the end of junior year too. Who do you want to ask to write a letter of recommendation for you? You want to think about teachers that have known you well. Maybe one that had you in your junior year. So it's helpful to seek out those teachers that taught you in a core subject. especially consider those teachers that taught your honors or AP courses. Maybe a teacher that taught you in a subject that you plan to major in. So teachers that know you well. So it's recommended that maybe you ask a teacher that you had junior year, because those are the teachers that just had you for that academic year. Also kind of interesting to think about, teachers that are going to send, submit their recommendation on time. So some of those teachers, they get busy. So asking ahead of time is something to think about. So then the teacher has time to think about what they're going to write, because teachers they are thoughtful about their recommendations, and they do put thought and effort into those. So that maybe sounds kind of cheesy, but after you have a letter of recommendation that's written for you, write a thank you note. At least, send an email. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you submitting that letter. A little thank you goes a long way. And something to consider too is that you do not want to send more letters to colleges than they are requesting. So if a school is saying we have 2 letters that are required and 1 optional, you can send in a total of 3, but don't send any more than 3, because the colleges will not look at those over the number that they are asking for. And who knows, that last one might be the best one. So again, just look at how many are required of the college, how many are optional, and don't send any more than that. Okay, so now we're talking a little bit about interviews. Interviews, if offered at a college, is a great way to make a positive impression and get that face-to-face advantage. So there are 2 types of interviews. There's the informational interview. So this is for when students can ask questions and learn more about the school. And then there's the evaluative interview, where this is where admissions asks questions as part of their decision process. So if a school strongly encourages an interview, do it. Respond immediately to any interview requests, and note that the importance of an interview varies wildly from school to school. So determine the importance, and if you have the opportunity, take it. You could be interviewed by someone in the admissions office, maybe a student even, or an alumni. So just be prepared, when you go into an interview, be prepared to tell your story. Just kind of goes without saying, dress appropriately. Know the reasons why you're applying to that college. Have some questions prepared so that you can ask, not a question like, how many students are on this campus? Come up with some thoughtful questions, and be prepared to answer questions. Why do you want to go to school here? So maybe do a little practice run, and even though it might be a little bit nerve-wracking, try to relax and be yourself. Okay, so now let's go on to our admissions decisions. So it's one thing I will mention before we talk about the actual decisions is it's important to note that most colleges are now sending their decisions via email or posting to their online portal. So really important that students are checking their emails and have created an account for that portal for those colleges that they have applied to. So very important thing to think about. I think a lot of students maybe aren't checking their emails as much as they should. So just keep right up with that. And something too to consider as a family is having like a family email, so that we want the students to be responsible and accountable for checking, but also maybe a parent can kind of double check now and again, just to be kind of in the background, but making sure everything is being opened and responded to. Okay, so different decisions we have admitted. Our student has been accepted. Students may be accepted and begin at a later semester. So that's sometimes something that happens. Deferred, if you have been deferred early action, you could be considered in the regular applicant pool. Denied is that you have not been accepted. And waitlisted, we are hearing more and more students being on the wait list. It means that the student is not yet accepted, and may or may not get accepted. So just a word about the wait list. Even for the best students, some may not ever get off the wait list. They are increasing in popularity, and some schools have a long list. So some just tips, if that school that you're on the wait list is one that you're really dying to go to, write a short note to the admissions counselor on why you want to go. Maybe send your updated grades, recent grades, any awards. So yes, more and more students are being waitlisted. And some schools have more students on the wait list than they can accept. So obviously they can't accept everyone. So always have a backup. Don't put all your eggs in the waitlisted schools basket. And keep in mind that your deposit is to your school of choice is due on May 1. Okay, so talking a little bit about college affordability. So what is cost of attendance? Cost of attendance is for 1 year. It includes tuition, fees, housing, meal plan, personal expenses, books, maybe health insurance. Most will not pay the full cost of attendance due to financial aid offers from different sources. Again, keeping financial aid deadlines and requirements in mind is so very important. The financial aid deadlines are as important as the admissions deadlines. So keep that important, keep that, on your planner there. Need-based versus merit-based aid. Need-based aid is based on financial circumstances, whereas merit-based aid is based upon academics, athletics, or other achievements, and so regardless of financial need. So this is a good time for parents to start having some pointed conversations. We call them kitchen table conversations with students about what the family can afford in regards to college costs and student loan debt. So we have webinars, many webinars. We have our Financial Aid 101 webinar that goes, soup to nuts about college affordability and options and whatnot. So you can check that out. We'll have the QR codes at the end here with all our different topics that we offer. And then also it's never too early for students to start looking for private scholarships. MEFA Pathway has a great tool with a national database of over 4,500 scholarships. So this tool within MEFA Pathway can make what is kind of an overwhelming search much more manageable. So students can get a list of scholarships based on different criteria. So type of award, their state of residence, the state where they may be studying, the type of school. So they put that criteria and it narrows down that list. They can start adding scholarships to their scholarship list, and they get all information on the scholarships, and then apply. So there are so many scholarships out there that go unawarded each year because students don't apply. It's free money. It's a little bit of an effort, but it's so worth it. And you can start looking for those today. Also, your high school may have a good list of local scholarships that are offered. So that's another way to look at scholarships. Okay, so net price calculators. Net price calculators are an online tool every college website has them. Actually, in MEFA Pathway, on our college details page, we have a link to the college net price calculator right on there. So if you're doing your search in MEFA Pathway, but these are the net price calculators for each of the colleges, ask questions about family finances and student academics. So the information you get from the calculator is only as accurate as the information you put in. So just, be honest with the information you're putting in. Different schools have different questions on their calculators, and the net price calculators do include the full cost of college. So if you are intending to commute, you'll see housing costs. So you just deduct those. So it will display federal and institutional aid, and merit aid may also be calculated within that net price calculator. So check those out on each of those colleges that you'll be applying to. All right, so financial aid. There are we'll talk about the FAFSA first, the free application for federal student aid. Every family submits the FAFSA. Some colleges require for merit aid to be awarded. Will open on, so they're telling us October 1 of this year for the 26-27, and they will be asking for the 2024 income. So that's the FAFSA. October 1. You don't have to fill it out right on October 1, but is when it opens. The CSS profile, there are approximately 200 colleges that require the CSS profile. So that's an additional financial form. That also opens on October 1. When you get your list of colleges that you're going to apply to, you will see if that CSS profile form is required. And also that form will also ask for 2024 income. And then there are some colleges that have their own specific financial aid applications. So those are posted on each college website. So another thing to look at when you're looking at each of these colleges individually. All right, so paying for college in Massachusetts, you definitely have options. We're so lucky here in Massachusetts. We have so many great affordable options for paying for college. First, we'll talk a little bit about mass transfer. Mass transfer in MEFA Pathway, we have a great tool that you can use where you select a community college to start at and then your four-year public to transfer, and it will calculate out the estimated savings for each of the three programs that are offered. So there's the Commonwealth Commitment, the A to B program, and the Gen Ed Foundation program. So there are benefits to each of these three programs within mass transfer, including credit transfer, tuition credit, and freeze on tuition. So check that out. We have the website here. Mass Educate. This is covers tuition and fees for all community college students in Massachusetts. You can get more information on the website here. You do have to submit the FAFSA in order to be eligible. So something to think about. And then the Mass Tuition Equity Law. This is for students who aren't eligible to submit the FAFSA, so they can receive Mass state financial aid in tuition rates. And then we also have the tuition break offered by NEBI. So this is a program that you can also check out, offers tuition break for colleges outside of Massachusetts in New England. Okay, so what are we doing now? We're staying on track through senior year. We are, and MEFA sends out emails. You're probably in our curriculum, but if not, you sign up for emails. I'll show you a QR code at the end of the presentation here. So through spring and summer, you're researching colleges, you're visiting your campus, and maybe attending some college fairs. You're asking your teachers for letters of recommendation. You're taking the SAT or ACT, and maybe starting to write that or think about the college essay and a topic. Fall of senior year, maybe you're retaking now those standardized tests, you're securing your letters of recommendation, finalizing your college essay. I'll mention MEFA's Financial Aid 101 webinar again, something to take advantage of. You're completing your application, submitting the FAFSA and the CSS profile. FAFSA definitely, maybe the CSS profile. Winter of senior year, you're submitting your admissions applications, you're continuing to apply for private scholarships, sending in your mid-grade reports. And then spring of senior year, I mean, things are getting real, right? It's you're getting ready to graduate. You'll be receiving your admissions and financial aid offers. Maybe attending your colleges that you've been accepted to, maybe their open house programs, and then choosing your college by that May 1 deadline. So super exciting time. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and see if there are any outstanding questions that we could address. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good question. If you choose to do a mass transfer, when you are ready to transfer to a four-year college or university, do you need to do a formal application for that four-year college? So suggested that you work directly with the community college that you are attending, and they will help guide you to that next phase. And in some cases, if you adhere to a certain GPA, you are automatically, you can automatically go to, some of those public colleges. So if you're within one of those programs, you definitely want to work with the support staff at the community college. Thank you. Okay, so let's see, let's get back here. All right, so what you can do now, again, signing up for webinars, researching your colleges, creating your college list. And then here we have more resources for you. We have your signing up for our emails so you can stay on track with your timely emails that you'll receive from us. Listen to our podcasts. We have some great topics. Jonathan Hughes does a really nice job as a host. And he has some interviews with students, so those are my favorites. You can access MEFA's resources to find articles and videos and calculators and webinars, and we also offer one-on-one counseling. The college planning team, we answer phone calls, and we do schedule one-on-one appointments if you want to speak with us one-on-one. We have many support events to help you filling out the FAFSA. This time of year, we're offering a financial aid hotline, the financial aid offer hotline, so you can bring your financial aid offers right into and talk to somebody live, and they'll help you make your final decision. All right, you can also connect with us on social media. Here are the many ways you can connect with us: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, again, our podcast. So certainly stay in touch with us. It's an exciting time. We want it to be not overwhelming, but to get you through and help support you however we can. So thank you for joining tonight. You will receive the recording of this presentation and along with the slides. So don't hesitate to reach out down the road if you have other questions. All right, and thanks so much. Have a good.
Jennifer, there's one more question in the chat if you just want to answer that one live.
Oh, is there any auto admit option to UMass colleges? Apolila, do you know the answer to that? Auto admit. I don't. We can look that. I can check that out. Do you know?
I was just gonna say I'm not aware of any auto admit options for any specific UMass programs. Through mass transfer, there are some, depending on grades and that sort of thing. But I'm not aware of any like direct from high school auto admit programs.
Yeah. We can look into that though. Yeah, I don't believe so either. But we can look into that and follow up. I'll jot your name down. Okay. And yeah, thank you for joining. Kind of a nice way to spend an evening. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.